Hi, everyone. My name is Craig Stuart Adams, and I am applying for a position with HAP. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about me, and let's have some fun and make it interesting. So first of all, I'd like to say welcome, HAP. You're going to get to know me a little bit, and I'm excited to tell you a little bit about my background and explain a few things. It may raise more questions than it explains, but let's give it a shot, shall we? Um, I I'm actually from Colorado originally, but I moved out to the Bay Area about 30 years ago, and I've been there ever since. I don't really miss Colorado because the Bay Area has so many great things. But I live in a place called San Rafael, which is just north of the city. Just to give you an idea of where we are in geography, you guys are up there at the very top with the big heart, and you go along the Pacific Rim, and then there's San Francisco there at the lower right-hand corner. And if we take a closer look at this area, you'll notice San Francisco Peninsula. You drive across the Golden Gate Bridge about, maybe 20 miles north. You end up near a field with cows, and there's my house up there. I live in a place called San Rafael. And San Rafael is a decent sized city. There's about 60,000 people. We have our own original California mission. And we also have some really buildings. This is our Civic Center, and this was designed by Frank Lloyd Wright. We have a big mountain called Mount Tamalpais, and this is a spiritual mountain. And there's great stories. It's a great place to hike and enjoy sunset from. I work with a company called W Real Estate. W is located in the city on Polk Street, and I was one of the founding members for the company in San Francisco. We did the grand opening in the city. This was right before COVID, and it was terrible timing to start a business, but maybe not. It was an interesting ride, and I'm still there. Where I am up in the wine country. And I closed the sale with a family that decided to have a reunion. So it was really fun being a part of their celebration. We serve a lot of families in the community and even their dogs. I love animals. Um, this is a this is a dog named Blue who seemed to take a liking to me. My home life in Santa Fe is really pretty neat. I have a nice home. You'll notice on the right, there's a library. That library gets used a lot. In this space, this whole room, it's not uncommon to walk in here and there's books all over the place and maps and, interesting documents and musical instruments. There's paths near my house, so I like to walk. And the wineries are not too far. Myra works nearby this particular location. It's about 20 minutes away from her house. I wrote a book called Worth Fighting For, and this was published last year. My first book, and it's a book of my poems. I am working on a second one, which should go to the publisher at the end of the year. And like anything else, shameless marketing and promotion is always a good idea. So we're showing our book to a number of people and having a good time, and it's been a lot of fun. I have the best family in the universe. Here you see Aspen, my wife Myra on the right, and then our daughter Marianne. We're very close, and we look for any opportunity we can just to spend time together. And some of you might recognize Aspen. Aspen was a rail guide last year, and also she was a bartender the year before. And she was the one that told me to apply. I thought it was very interesting when she told me about it, and I thought, I kind of understand, but it's like I've got this career. But then again, how often do you have an opportunity to have an adventure with your adult children? And I believe Marianne has also applied too. Here we are at the pumpkin patch, just goofing off and eating popcorn, and the Snoop Museum in Santa Rosa. We were over there, and we just look for any opportunity to have fun and laugh at ourselves, no matter what. If you want serious, well, We take our work seriously, but we do have a good time no matter what. This is Ray Engels. He's a comedian here in San Francisco, and we brought out the rubber chickens. If all else fails, there's always confession at Sunday Mass somewhere. I want to talk about Colorado just briefly. It's just I've had this background. You can take the boy out of Colorado, but you can't take the Colorado out of the boy. And isn't that the truth? This is where I went to school. This is Boulder, Colorado. And the Flatirons there in the background are just a great source of inspiration and rock climbing. And we spent a lot of time in the mountains, of course, skiing and mountaineering. My friend opened up a ski school in Snowmass, and so I taught skiing in the Snowmass Aspen area. I had great students. And you can't go to Colorado without spending at least one night at the Red Rocks Amphitheater, made with the beautiful Colorado sandstone overlooking Denver. I actually saw the Grateful Dead from this place. What a great location. Nome and Brevig Mission are two areas I've been to already. I was a missionary in a high school and I was sent up to Brevig Mission. So we flew into Nome. This is what you see from the airplane. And Nome's a pretty good sized city, known for the Iditarod. And the Iditarod is just puts that place on the map like no other. Everybody internationally knows about this. And this was a great juxtaposition from, just on the outskirts of Nome. I thought that was interesting. Old mining material and machines, and then these beautiful mountains surrounding the area. And from there, you fly up to Brevig Mission. It's maybe a 2 hour flight. Take a little regional transport like this, and you'll fly and land on a dirt pad there. There's not much in Brevig Mission. It's a different lifestyle than California for sure. But every one of these little houses has somebody inside and a family, and they're really interesting people. They live on salmon. They're hunters. They're fishermen, and it was just a wonderful experience. Although I have to be honest, I wasn't a very good missionary. I don't think I converted anybody. But you got to see how they lived. Oh, this was interesting too because it's a historical site. You have crosses here. These were from a pandemic in 1918. And at that time, there was a missionary community that lived in the area, and 82 out of 90 people that were in the town, in the village, passed away because of that pandemic. And they actually used this to study it for ways to help the COVID community. All right, so the Chinese, I wanted to touch base about these guys because we have a lot of Chinese in the Bay Area. In fact, at one point, I'd say half of my client base was Chinese based. And they're tight people. They have great sense of community, great history. China Camp is a great example of the Chinese history. This is near my house. And this is a shrimp processing facility. There's the reason I'm showing this to you is because there's similarities between what's happening here and what's happened here and the contributions that they have in Alaska. You'll see this particular site is more or less a ghost town today. It's nice to see it preserved. They do have an old sand pan that somebody has restored, and the old cabins and the areas where they would dry the shrimp. Here they're grading the shrimp. And if you transliterate that to Alaska, you'll see there's a common element going on here. And the story, the backstory is the gold rush in 1848. There was probably 200 people that lived in San Francisco at the time. Once gold was discovered at Sutter's Mill, the population jumped to about 100,000 people in San Francisco proper in the following 2 years. It was that market of a difference, and it changed the history of the United States. And the Chinese were in on it early. They came out as unskilled labor to serve in different jobs and capacities. They came out as miners. They built the Transcontinental Railroad. there was a large population of Chinese, predominantly from southern China, that came to the Bay Area. And you'll see the same kind of exodus to the Alaska coast. These guys all served in the salmon packing industry. This is a photo I was able to get from the Alaska, Salmon Packing Association. And these guys are all from South China. You can tell from the cues in their hair that they are subjects of the Ming Dynasty, before the 1911 uh, revolution. So this is probably an 1890s era picture. This gentleman is China Joe. He was a character in Anchorage, and he left San Francisco after building the transcontinental railroads. Went up to Alaska to try his hand at panning for gold, and became quite well known. His real name is Li Hung. Chinese brought their families with them wherever they could, and they kept their traditions alive. They kept their language alive. They worked in remote places. This is Kodiak Island. You'll see that some of the old buildings are still there. They're abandoned, of course, but the history is there. It's a very strong history. This is what you would expect to see at the turn of the century in a salmon packing factory. This particular picture is interesting. There's only one Chinese that I see in the picture, but you'll see just a large, group of immigrants. Portuguese, it looks like, some Filipinos, it looks like people from the lower 48 are there. It's a real interesting picture from one of the Alaska companies. And I got this picture from the San Francisco Maritime Association. Today, you'll see multi-generational families that are in the business. I love this picture because you can see there's the grandfather on the far left is very happy and proud of what he's doing. His son on the far right is also equally proud, and they have their grandson in the middle sharing a moment, and that's just beautiful. This is the Alaska Chinese Association, and every year they celebrate in Anchorage. In this particular event, they're having a Chinese calligraphy demonstration, which is a fantastic exercise, a great skill and an art in itself. And it's good to have the song and the dance being performed with the children and the way they share with the community. So thank you so much for watching. I have enjoyed showing the video and talking a little bit about what I know, and I look forward to speaking to you all soon and getting to know you better, and appreciate the opportunity just to share from my experience. Thank you for watching, and have a great rest of your day.